1062. Chapter 1062. Don't think being polite will save you. These past few days, the most famous person in the Vermilion Bird domain was naturally Lin Moyu. Lin Moyu was first taken away by the law enforcement team, and his name quickly spread throughout the Vermilion Bird domain. Due to the existence of the Human Sovereign Network, information traveled at an extremely rapid pace. In less than half a day, everyone knew about Lin Moyu and Gu Qingjin being taken away by the law enforcement team. Being taken away by the law enforcement team couldn't mean anything good, as one could imagine. But soon after, the potential ranking suddenly changed. Lin Moyu almost parachuted directly to the first place on the potential ranking. The potential ranking had another name among talented cultivators, the genius ranking. Only geniuses could be on the potential ranking, and their ranks represented their level of genius. Lin Moyu's sudden rise to the top of the potential ranking surprised many people. The potential ranking had 100 spots, so Lin Moyu's ascension to first place meant the original 100th person was eliminated. More importantly, Lin Moyu being on the potential ranking meant he was safe and sound. The incident of him being taken away by law enforcement was just a misunderstanding. Then people saw Lin Moyu and Gu Qingjin's names on the contribution ranking, ranked 8th and 9th respectively. This further proved that not only were they innocent, but they had made contributions. The contribution ranking wasn't something just anyone could get on. One had to make contributions to humanity to be listed. New information then spread that Lin Moyu's contribution came from completing the task of fully clearing 100 non-living star systems and setting up a star array there. Many people rushed to the Vermilion Bird 100 non-living star systems to check, and found it to be true. The previously chaotic star systems filled with turbulent spiritual auras and strange creatures had become calm and peaceful, entering a process of self-repair. Given enough time, they would become suitable for life again. Although humanity had many living star systems, having more was always better, which is why these tasks were issued in the first place. Some might say it would be faster and better for celestial venerables to restore the star systems themselves. However, that would prevent the younger generation from experiencing the suffering of war and seeing what those once prosperous star systems had become. The higher-ups wanted to motivate and provoke the younger generation this way. It was just that these tasks were extremely difficult, to the point where some thought they were impossible to complete. Yet Lin Moyu had accomplished it, proving the tasks were doable and the rewards attainable. Lin Moyu's fame rapidly grew amidst the doubts and acknowledgements, expanding throughout the entire Vermilion Bird domain. At the number 10 Star Trading Center, Lin Moyu had been standing in front of the trading platform for a long time. After leaving the trading room, he had returned to the platform to search for the items he needed. Since he had decided to go to the battlefield, the first thing Lin Moyu thought of was how to stay alive, specifically how to survive against celestial kings. He wasn't thinking about weakling celestial kings like Liu Hong, but at least against the level of the Black Falcon King or Bat King. Although he had the Battle King Tower which greatly increased his survival chances, celestial kings also had ways to deal with it, like Liu Hong's massive net talisman that almost trapped him. So Lin Moyu decided to go on the offensive as the best defense. He wanted to see if he could purchase any remains or corpses of celestial kings at the 9th level. Even remnants would do. As long as he could obtain the remnants of a 9th level celestial king, he would truly have nothing to fear in the celestial king realm. However, the remains of celestial kings were not easily obtainable. No matter how much Lin Moyu searched, he couldn't find any. In the list of items he could see, there were some previously hidden items as well. These items were rarer, and among them Lin Moyu saw celestial king level items. For example, there was a flame-extinguishing sword containing the flame-extinguishing law for 6 million points, a high-grade celestial king-level artifact. However, it was useless to Lin Moyu, so he had no interest in purchasing it despite the high price. Points were just numbers, and Lin Moyu had no intention of being stingy. Since he couldn't find any celestial king remains, he only saw some remnants of true divinities that could be used for pill or artifact refinement. But Lin Moyu wasn't very interested. After searching for a while, Lin Moyu now had a massive 8.77 million points but hadn't spent a single one.
If the number 10 Star Trading Center doesn't have it, I wonder if other star systems trading centers might.
As far as he knew, different star systems not only had different tasks but also different items in their trading centers. Lin Moyu thought he could check a few other higher-level star systems, or perhaps he could find something at the street stalls. If not, he could swallow his pride and ask Zhu Tian. In any case, he was determined to obtain a life-saving talisman before going to the battlefield. The battlefield was too dangerous. While growing and completing the task were important, survival was the top priority. Without his life, nothing else mattered. Lin Moyu spent an entire day at the trading center, carefully inspecting every corner, but still couldn't find any Celestial King remains. Disappointed, he left the trading center. Outside, there were still crowds of people coming and going. The old man from before was no longer there. For some reason, Lin Moyu felt that the old man had been waiting specifically for him. This unfounded feeling struck him as odd.
Or perhaps I'm overthinking it.
Lin Moyu shook his head slightly and chuckled to himself. Gradually, Lin Moyu noticed some new issues. Many people were looking at him, their gazes converging, and he could hear faint whispers around him.
So this is Lin Moyu. Could it be someone with the same name? The first on the potential ranking is only a true divinity first level. Is that possible? The potential ranking isn't ranked by cultivation level. Maybe his potential is high enough. But for a true divinity first level to perfectly complete the task in star system 100182 seems unlikely.
All kinds of voices reached his ears, and Lin Moyu found it increasingly strange. How had he suddenly become so famous? Why did it seem like everyone recognized him? Was it because of the potential ranking? But what about that task? How did everyone know about it? Lin Moyu felt a bit dazed and unaccustomed to the attention.
Lin Moyu!
Suddenly, a loud shout rang out. Lin Moyu turned to look and immediately revealed an embarrassed expression. Not far away, Chu Xiong was striding over with a domineering aura, his Celestial King aura surging skyward. The people around him instinctively stepped back to make way. Chu Xiong had a ferocious look on his face, as if he was coming to pick a fight with Lin Moyu. Lin Moyu cupped his fist in greeting.
Greetings, Senior Chu.
Chu Xiong snort angrily.
You little brat, don't think being polite now will save you. I'm telling you, apologizing is useless. I'm going to teach you a lesson today and show you what it means to respect your elders.
1063. Chapter 1063. Too little faith power is useless. Too much is harmful. Chu Xiong cursed and dragged Lin Moyu away. Lin Moyu smiled bitterly and helplessly, wondering how he had forgotten that Chu Xiong and Zhuang Bai were both in the number 10 star system. Moreover, it was such a coincidence that they happened to run into each other. Lin Moyu remembered Chu Xiong's fierce look in the human sovereign arena, as if he wanted to eat him alive. But in the end, he was defeated by Lin Moyu twice in seconds, which almost made him explode with anger. Now, in reality, being caught by Chu Xiong, he would probably be taught a lesson. Lin Moyu actually understood that Chu Xiong had no ill intentions. Despite his fierce appearance, he was not a bad person. Chu Xiong took Lin Moyu and left through the teleportation array. The two arrived at a quiet mountain forest, where the sound of flowing water could be heard in the distance. The environment here was beautiful, with birds singing and flowers blooming, and a quiet path leading into the depths of the forest. Lin Moyu noticed that the flowers and plants on both sides of the path were obviously carefully trimmed, arranged in a very aesthetic manner. At the deepest part of the path, a courtyard could be vaguely seen. This reminded Lin Moyu of the White God courtyard in the small world, with a similar charm. Lin Moyu looked at Chu Xiong with a hint of curiosity.
Senior Chu, do you live here?
Chu Xiong's fierce face and fiery temper seemed out of place with the current environment. Chu Xiong guessed Lin Moyu's thoughts and his face changed.
What, doesn't it look like it?
Lin Moyu shook his head.
I didn't expect Senior Chu to have such a soft heart. Soft your ghost. I wouldn't want to live in this godforsaken place. Walking here, you have to be careful not to step on the flowers and plants.
Chu Xiong shouted loudly, showing his disdain for the place. Lin Moyu couldn't help but laugh. This seemed more in line with Chu Xiong's character.
Chu idiot, did you eat shit again?
A leisurely voice sounded, neither fast nor slow. Lin Moyu immediately recognized it as Zhuang Bai's voice.
Chu Xiong's not.
Old Zhuang, Lin Moyu is here.
At the end of the path, Zhuang Bai's figure appeared. Lin Moyu immediately greeted him.
Greetings, Senior Zhuang.
Zhuang Bai, with a face like jade and a gentle smile, said,
Young friend Lin, please come into the courtyard for a drink.
Chu Xiong groaned.
Drinking is drinking. Why so many fancy words? We're not from the Azure Dragon Star domain.
Saying this, he had already walked in, not forgetting to add,
Kid, don't think about running away.
Lin Moyu smiled slightly and followed. The forest path was not long. As soon as he stepped into the forest, a refreshing air hit him, making Lin Moyu feel relaxed and happy, sweeping away any fatigue and worries. Dappled light shone through the trees, falling on him warmly. The sound of birds chirping could be heard, and birds could be seen nesting in the branches. The place exuded beauty, calming the heart. Zhuang Bai stood in front of the courtyard, looking more refined than when he was seen in the arena. A word suddenly popped into Lin Moyu's mind. Scholar. He found it very fitting to describe Zhuang Bai as a scholar. He and Chu Xiong seemed like two extremes, yet they were close friends. The world is indeed full of wonders. The courtyard was simply but elegantly arranged, matching Zhuang Bai's personality. After passing through the courtyard, the sound of water became more pronounced, and a waterfall could be seen not far away. The rushing mountain water cascaded down the waterfall, not grand but with a unique charm. On the stone table behind the courtyard, there were a few simple dishes and a pot of fine wine. Chu Xiong sat down unceremoniously. Zhuang Bai waved his hand.
Young friend Lin, please sit.
Chu Xiong shouted.
Why so polite? Drinking doesn't need so many rules. Just drink to your heart's content.
As he spoke, he had already poured himself a cup and started drinking. Zhuang Bai smiled wryly.
Ignore him. He's just a rough person.
Lin Moyu's heart moved, and he took out the wine gourd given by Ren Chong.
Senior Chu, this wine is my apology to you.
Zhuang Bai shook his head.
There is no need for an apology for winning or losing in the arena.
Chu Xiong, hearing it was wine, grabbed the gourd.
That's between me and him. You stay out of it.
Shuang bị sait.
You are really something.
Chu Xiong took a sip from the gourd and exhaled.
The wine is not bad, though a bit light, but drinkable. Considering the wine, I'll forgive you this time. Let's let bygones be bygones.
Lin Moyu knew that Chu Xiong didn't really blame him. He just looked fierce. Zhuang Bai smiled.
Young friend Lin, you have become quite famous recently.
Hearing this, Lin Moyu felt a headache.
I don't know what to do.
Chu Xiong muttered.
It's simple. Just hide your information.
Zhuang Bai also smiled.
That's a good method, and very simple. Just hide your information, and others won't know who you are. But the problem is, many people already remember your appearance, and you will still be recognized.
Chu Xiong interjected again.
Serves you right for being the first on the potential ranking. Being first means being watched.
Lin Moyu smiled bitterly.
I didn't intend for this to happen. The Human Sovereign Network did it. It's not up to you. Even if others want to, they can't get on it.
Chu Xiong said grumpily. Zhuang Bai glared at him.
You drink your wine and talk less.
Chu Xiong obediently started drinking. These two, Lin Moyu found them very interesting. Zhuang Bai said,
Young friend Lin can also prepare a treasure to change your appearance. Combined with hiding your information, it will be hard for others to recognize you.
Indeed, this would be foolproof. Zhuang Bai changed the topic.
However, being recognized is not necessarily a bad thing. It could be a good thing.
Lin Moyu was slightly surprised.
Please enlighten me, Senior.
Zhuang Bai said,
Have you heard of the power of faith?
Lin Moyu nodded.
Yes, it is one of the fundamental powers of the human race.
Not only had he heard of it, but he also possessed the power of faith. Even in the great world, the power of faith from the small world had never ceased. The power of faith had many uses, but so far he didn't know how to use it. Zhuang Bai said,
The more famous you are, the more you will gradually gather the power of faith. The power of faith is very useful, especially when you break through to the God's sovereign realm. It can give you a push.
Hearing this, Lin Moyu was slightly stunned.
Senior Zhuang means I should be high profile to gather the power of faith.
Zhuang Bai smiled.
More or less. Those who have been at the top of the potential ranking have all gathered the power of faith. Using the power of faith can speed up their cultivation and make future breakthroughs easier.
Chu Xiong interjected again.
But it depends on how much power of faith you can gather. Too little is useless, too much is troublesome, and too much can be harmful.
Lin Moyu was slightly surprised.
Too much power of faith can be harmful?
Zhuang Bai explained.
The power of faith is the power of all beings, with many impurities, so too much can cause problems. Is there a solution?
Since the power of faith is one of the fundamental powers of the human race, it has both advantages and disadvantages. If there are disadvantages, there must be solutions. Zhuang Bai chuckled.
There are many solutions. You can purify and refine it yourself, or use the Dragon Clan's Dragon Soul Crystal.
1064. Chapter 1064. Striving for first place in 3 rankings. Zhuang Bai and Lin Moyu chatted a lot. Overall, Zhuang Bai told Lin Moyu that the power of faith is very useful and has great potential. He advised Lin Moyu to make good use of his position as the first on the potential ranking to gather as much faith power as possible. Although the power of faith contains many impurities and needs to be purified and refined before it can truly be used, there are many ways to solve this problem. Lin Moyu himself already possesses the 9-colored Dragon Soul Crystal, so the impurities are not an issue for him. However, when Lin Moyu asked about the method of using it, Zhuang Bai did not explain. It wasn't that he didn't want to, but he couldn't. The power of faith, like laws, needs to be personally comprehended and is difficult to describe clearly in words. Lin Moyu understood this. Moreover, to use the power of faith, one more thing is needed. This item can only be obtained with level 5 permissions. So for now, Lin Moyu only needs to accumulate and not worry too much about other things. Lin Moyu and Zhuang Bai had only met in the arena, and they were not deeply acquainted. But strangely, they hit it off immediately and quickly became good friends. Although they were not yet at the point of sharing everything, their relationship was already quite good. Zhuang Bai was gentle and elegant, spoke appropriately, and had no airs about him. On the contrary, Zhuang Bai greatly admired Lin Moyu's ability to fight across levels. When he asked why Lin Moyu was taken away by the law enforcement team, Lin Moyu did not hide it and told him directly. Lin Moyu admitted to killing Liu Hong, which shocked Zhuang Bai. Chu Xiong, who was beside him, even spat out his drink and stared at Lin Moyu in disbelief.
Kid, are you saying you killed the Celestial King at the first level of true divinity?
Lin Moyu modestly replied.
He was just the weakest Celestial King, unable to even manifest his soul, and his law domain was very poor.
Chu Xiong mutter.
But no matter what, he was still a Celestial King. I've heard of true divinity at the 9th level fighting across realms and killing Celestial Kings. But I've never heard of a first level true divinity killing a Celestial King. Kid, you're a freak. No, I have to fight you now. If I don't fight you now, I might not be able to beat you in the future.
If Lin Moyu could maintain his current ability to fight across levels, when he reached the Celestial King realm, he might be invincible in that realm.
Zhuang be scolded.
Drink your wine and stop fooling around. You're a few thousand years old and still act like a child. Aren't you ashamed?
Chu Xiong took a big gulp of wine.
For Lin Moyu's sake, I'll let it go today.
Lin Moyu couldn't help but laugh. He had no face to save. Chu Xiong was just giving himself an excuse. In the arena, Lin Moyu had already shown strong strength. He could fight to a draw with a 9th level true divinity. But the arena and the real world are different. In the real world, one can use artifacts, but not in the arena. A good artifact can often determine the outcome of a battle. He guessed that Lin Moyu might have some very powerful artifacts, but he wouldn't ask. This was Lin Moyu's secret, and asking too much would affect their relationship. Zhuang Bai asked,
What are your plans next, Brother Lin?
Lin Moyu replied,
I plan to go to the battlefield and do some battlefield tasks.
Zhuang Bai stared at Lin Moyu.
Are you really going to the battlefield? The battlefield is very dangerous.
Chu Xiong said in a muffled voice.
Dangerous, my foot. With his strength, as long as he stays on the outskirts and doesn't go to other areas to court death, he won't die. Think about it. What would happen if a lion entered a flock of sheep?
Zhuang scolded.
Do you think Lin Moyu is as unambitious as you, only bullying those weaker than yourself?
Lin Moyu felt a bit embarrassed. That was exactly what he was thinking. But even on the outskirts of the battlefield, there could occasionally be celestial kings which would still be dangerous. Zhuang Bai continued,
Going to the battlefield is good. Although battlefield tasks are dangerous, the rewards are rich, far beyond those of the task center. Moreover, doing battlefield tasks can accumulate contributions, and the ranking on the contribution ranking is also very important. Many people admire the strong who are high on the contribution ranking.
For Lin Moyu, the biggest use of the potential ranking and the contribution ranking was to attract attention and gather the power of faith. Lin Moyu thought that if he could get first place on the potential ranking, contribution ranking, and battle power ranking, he might be able to gather a lot of faith power. The battle power ranking evaluates real combat power. Currently, the first place on the battle power ranking is a 4th level celestial king named Xiao Lin. Lin Moyu guessed that Xiao Lin had at least the combat power of a 7th or even 8th level celestial king. To reach the first place on the battle power ranking, Lin Moyu needed to ensure he had the combat power of a 9th level celestial king. Given the current situation, this meant he needed to reach the celestial king realm. As long as he could reach the celestial king realm, he was confident he could match a 9th level celestial king. At the same time, he needed to ensure his permissions did not rise to level 5. If his permissions rose to level 5, he would leave the Vermilion Bird Domain's rankings and enter the rankings of the entire human race's 4 major domains. That would not be ideal. Lin Moyu thought for a while and had an answer in his heart. Permissions should not rise too quickly. Cultivation and permissions should progress together. Zhuang Bai saw Lin Moyu's expression and knew he had figured it out. He smiled.
You know what to do now, right?
Lin Moyu nodded.
Thank you for your guidance, Senior Zhuang.
Zhuang Bai said,
Currently, the first place on the battle power ranking, Xiao Lin, could have raised his permissions to level 5 long ago. But to gather more faith power, he has been holding back his permissions.
The more faith power, the easier the future path will be, and the easier it will be to advance to the God-sovereign realm. However, too much faith power brings many impurities that need to be purified. Chu Xiong said,
It's said that guy got a dragon soul crystal from the dragon clan a few years ago and is now happily refining the power of faith.
Chu Xiong's words carried a hint of disdain, as if he looked down on Xiao Lin's actions.
Zhuang smiled.
Don't mind him. This guy has some issues with Xiao Lin. They chose different paths. Chu Xiong can't use the power of faith, so he raised his permissions early and left the rankings. At that time, he and Xiao Lin were evenly matched in combat power.
Chu Xiong snort.
If I meet Xiao Lin now, I'll beat him with one hand. If we hadn't left the battle power ranking early, he wouldn't have had a chance to speak.
Chu Xiong is now at the 8th level of the Celestial King realm and indeed has the ability to beat Xiao Lin. And Zhuang Bai is at the 9th level of the Celestial King realm. Clearly, both of them were once figures on the battle power ranking and had the ability to fight across levels. Lin Moyu said,
I will work hard but won't force it. Senior Zhuang, Senior Chu, I have a question. Ask away.
Zhuang Bai said. Chu Xiong, drinking his wine, said,
Just spit it out.
Lin Moyu asked,
Where can I get the remains of a celestial king? I searched the trading center but couldn't find any.
Zhuangbai was curious.
What do you need the remains of a celestial king for?
Chu Xiong was also puzzled.
Do you have some special hobby?
Lin Moyu laughed.
I have a technique that requires the remains of a strong person as a catalyst. The stronger the remains, the more powerful my technique.
1065 Chapter 1065 Preparations before going to the battlefield. Zhuangbai understood immediately upon hearing it. Lin Moyu planned to use the corpse as a trump card to save his life on the battlefield.
The battlefield is very dangerous. Indeed, you need to make some preparations. I didn't expect you to have such a technique. You can't buy a Divine King Realm corpse in the trading center. The corpses of the Divine King Realm are very valuable and won't circulate in the outside world.
Lin Moyu was a bit disappointed.
I see. I guess I was thinking too much.
At this moment, a black shadow flew past, and a severed leg heavily fell on the grass. The leg was very fresh, still bleeding, and the strong smell of blood immediately spread. The leg was over 10 meters long, like a small mountain, pressing on the ground. Lin Moyu sensed the aura of the Divine King Realm from the severed leg, but he couldn't determine the exact level. But it definitely wouldn't be lower than the 5th level of the Divine King Realm. Zhuangbai glared fiercely at Chu Xiong.
If you don't fix my yard later, I'll break your leg.
Obviously, Zhuangbai cared a lot about his yard. His words were full of killing intent. Chu Xiong shivered all over, muttering,
I'll fix it. Who's afraid of who?
Then Chu Xiong looked at Lin Moyu.
This is a leg of the Black Star Beast. Its strength is equivalent to the 8th level of the Divine King Realm. It's for you.
Lin Moyu was shocked.
Senior, how can I accept this? This leg is priceless. Why don't you name a price, and I'll see if I can afford it.
Chu Xiong waved his hand.
Get lost. This is just my food. I'm not so poor that I need to sell my food.
Zhuangbai also said,
Take it. This guy is a foodie. He specifically went to kill a few Black Star Beasts recently. He still has a lot in stock.
Chu Xiong nodded.
A mere Black Star Beast. It's a piece of cake for me.
Zhuangbai teased.
I don't know who was chased across the entire starry sky by the Black Star Beast King and barely escaped. Don't expose people's shortcomings. Old Zhuang, you're going too far.
Chu Xiong shouted angrily. Lin Moyu smiled and put away the Black Star Beast leg.
Thank you, Senior Chu, then I won't be polite.
Chu Xiong waved his hand.
No need to be polite. If you're lucky enough to get some good wine on the battlefield, remember to save some for me.
Chu Xiong had 2 great loves in his life, wine and food. Lin Moyu nodded.
I will remember. If I get something, I will definitely bring it to you.
Zhuangbai reminded again.
On the battlefield, there are various races, some of which have all kinds of strange secret techniques. Very dangerous. You must be careful. You can go to the trading center to buy some soul defense items, and also the starlight armor that can resist law attacks. This will greatly enhance your safety.
Zhuangbai gave a few more reminders, talking about things to pay attention to on the battlefield. It wasn't until late at night that Lin Moyu said goodbye and left. Using the teleportation array, he returned to the trading center. Lin Moyu indeed needed to buy some things at the trading center. With the unexpected gain of the Black Star Beast leg, he no longer needed other Divine King Realm corpses. Zhuangbai also clearly told him that it was impossible to buy Divine King Realm corpses at the trading center, because these things had other uses and wouldn't circulate in the market. So Lin Moyu could use his points to buy other things. Lin Moyu had already set his eyes on a few items before, but he hadn't bought them because he was saving his points. Now he could buy them. The items Lin Moyu had his eyes on were called law crystals, naturally occurring in the great world. Law crystals contained pure law power, which was good for both cultivation and crafting. However, it wasn't easy to comprehend the laws through them. Their effect was far inferior to divine items like the Law Divine Flower. Law crystals were also divided into several grades, ranging from the Super Divine Realm to the Divine King Realm, and they were further divided by the type of law. First, look at the type of law and which tier it belongs to. The 3rd tier law crystals were the cheapest, while the first-tier ones were naturally the most expensive. However, there were no first-tier ones at all. Lin Moyu had his eyes on a third-tier elemental law crystal of the true Divine King realm, which only cost 100,000 points each. If it were a second-tier law, the price of a law crystal of the same level would be 10 times higher. For example, a law crystal containing the fire law of the Divine King realm cost 100,000 points. A law crystal containing the starlight law of the Divine King realm cost 1 million points. Lin Moyu had 8.78 million points, a veritable tycoon, spending money without any hesitation. He bought 10 fire law crystals, spending 1 million points. Then he bought 1 storm law crystal and 1 heavy water law crystal, spending 2 million points. He also bought 1 starlight law crystal, spending another 1 million points. Lin Moyu found that the number of law crystals was not many. After he bought the 2 law crystals of the storm law and heavy water law, they were directly out of stock. It made sense. With 1 million points, why not go to the training ground to comprehend the laws? Why buy law crystals and do such a thankless task? Unless there was a special use, people wouldn't buy them.
Unfortunately, I couldn't find a light speed law crystal.
Lin Moyu searched several times but couldn't find a light speed law crystal. The light speed law was considered niche among humans, with very few people comprehending it. So it was normal not to have corresponding law crystals. 8.78 million points, and he used up 4 million in one go. The transaction went smoothly. Almost as soon as Lin Moyu paid the points, the corresponding law crystals appeared in the trading platform. Lin Moyu rented a task room, summoning the elemental lich inside. In the high-level star system, even the training rooms were much larger than those in the middle and low-level star systems. There was even a bed inside for people to sleep and rest. But the fee was also higher, costing 10 points a day. Lin Moyu entered the task room, closed the door, and then summoned the elemental lich. The task room had the advantage that no matter what happened inside, no aura would leak out. Even if Lin Moyu summoned the elemental lich, the outside world would know nothing. The fire law lich, storm law lich, heavy water law lich, and starlight law lich lined up, respectfully prostrating on the ground. They were extremely loyal to Lin Moyu, and would not hesitate to die if he ordered them to. Taking out the newly purchased law crystals,
Absorb them.
the 4 elemental lich's eyes collectively lit up. Although they had no consciousness, they knew that the items in front of them were greatly beneficial to them. The 4 elemental liches immediately came over and swallowed the corresponding law crystals. Among them, the fire law lich only had a 3rd-tier law. Lin Moyu treated them equally, buying 10 law crystals for it, without favoring one over the other. After absorbing the law crystals, the 4 elemental liches began to evolve simultaneously. Their aura was constantly strengthening, originally almost reaching the 7th level of the true god. Now they took a big step forward, directly reaching the peak of the true god. The law halos became brighter, and their power greatly increased. With their support, the combat power of the undead army could reach a new level. Even if he didn't take action, the undead army would have no pressure facing the peak of the true god. Although he spent 4 million points, Lin Moyu felt it was worth it. Points were meant to be spent, if not, they were just a bunch of numbers. 1066, 1066. Chapter 1066. The challenge from the second on the ranking. After making a small enhancement to the elemental lich, Lin Moyu bought some more items. He purchased 10 God King level teleportation talismans. These talismans allow the user to instantly break through blockades and teleport up to 1,000,000 kilometers away, with the direction being controllable. They are a lifesaver on the battlefield, and many people buy a few just in case. Lin Moyu was no exception, spending 50,000 points on each talisman, totaling 500,000 points for 10. Next, he bought 10 God King level Thunder talismans, spending another 500,000 points. Each Thunder talisman is equivalent to a full strength attack from a 3rd-tier God King. They use the Law of Thunder, which, although a 3rd-tier law, still packs a significant punch. Lin Moyu would have preferred better talismans, but there were none available, and even if there were, he might not have been able to afford them. In the blink of an eye, 5 million of his 8.78 million points were spent. Lin Moyu couldn't help but sigh at how quickly points could be used up. He didn't consider that most people at the true god level wouldn't be buying god king level items. For example, a true god level thunder talisman only costs a few thousand points each. Lin Moyu lamented the high prices as he left the trading center. Walking down the street, he was once again the subject of much pointing and whispering. Being the number one on the potential ranking, he attracted a lot of attention. However, after listening to Zhuang Bai's advice, Lin Moyu didn't mind the attention. He now understood that the bigger his reputation, the better it would be for his future plans. As he approached the teleportation array, Lin Moyu prepared to head to the battlefield. The battlefield was over 50,000 light-years away, far beyond the Vermilion Bird domain. Even using the large teleportation array of the number 10 star system, he would need to make several transfers to reach his destination. The cost for the 50,000 light-year journey was also steep, totaling 5,000 points. Just before departure, Lin Moyu received a message from the Human Sovereign Network. The sender was Zhang Ziyue, a name Lin Moyu recognized as the second on the potential ranking. Before Lin Moyu took the top spot, Zhang Ziyue had been number one. Now, Zhang Ziyue had sent a challenge letter, wanting to fight Lin Moyu to prove that he should be the top-ranked. Such challenges were common among those on the potential ranking. While the Human Sovereign Network's rankings were generally accurate, potential did not always equate to actual combat power. Real battles also depended on practical experience, on-the-spot performance, psychological state, and the strength of one's techniques. Especially in life-and-death battles, external factors could have a significant impact. It wasn't unheard of for those ranked lower to defeat those ranked higher in the same realm. In such cases, the Human Sovereign Network would promptly adjust the rankings. Receiving Zhang Ziyue's challenge letter did not surprise Lin Moyu. He had anticipated that Zhang Ziyue, and even those ranked third and fourth, would challenge him. However, Lin Moyu's response was straightforward.
No time.
After sending his reply, Lin Moyu activated the teleportation array and, amidst a brilliant light, headed to the battlefield. The teleportation was a long one. During the transfer, the starry sky twisted into dazzling light, quickly receding behind him. Lin Moyu felt as if he were witnessing the changes in the starry sky, traveling countless light-years in an instant, disappearing into the cosmos. The journey of tens of thousands of light-years required several transfers. The large teleportation array was fast, reaching a speed of 1 light-year per second. Even so, it would take Lin Moyu over 10 minutes to reach his destination. In a section of the starry sky, Zhang Ziyue had just completed a task. He received Lin Moyu's reply. The mere 2 words made Zhang Ziyue's anger surge. To be so bluntly rejected, Zhang Ziyue's eyes flashed coldly.
Don't think you can refuse my challenge just like that. The top spot on the potential ranking is mine.
His eyes turned and he quickly came up with an idea.
If that's the case, I'll force you to accept the challenge. Even if you hold the top spot on the potential ranking, you won't gain any faith power if you don't accept my challenge.
Zhang Ziyue sent out several messages, leveraging his connections. He wasn't from an ordinary family but from a prominent one, and he held a significant position within it with many friends. At his request, messages quickly spread to every corner of the Vermilion Bird domain. The main content of these messages was that Lin Moyu, the top-ranked on the potential ranking, was afraid to accept Zhang Ziyue's challenge. Some even claimed that Lin Moyu's reputation was undeserved, and that his actual combat power was not impressive. Zhang Ziyue hoped to use this method to pressure Lin Moyu into accepting his challenge. Unfortunately for him, all his efforts were in vain. Lin Moyu was no longer in the Vermilion Bird domain. He had already entered the battlefield, stepping into another world. The oppressive atmosphere hit him as he saw an unusual starry sky. The sky seemed shrouded in a blood-red hue. Although the starry sky should have no smell, it seemed to be filled with the scent of blood. Lin Moyu couldn't imagine the level of slaughter required to create such an effect. He knew it was an illusion, but it was caused by the pervasive killing intent and bloodlust.
Leave the teleportation array.
A low voice commanded. A soldier in armor shouted at Lin Moyu. Lin Moyu nodded and immediately left. The soldier said no more. His task was merely to guard the teleportation array. Many first-timers like Lin Moyu would often stand dazed in the array. If not snapped out of it, they might stand there for half a day, affecting the array's operation. Lin Moyu scanned the area. There were 100 large teleportation arrays with people arriving frequently. This was the battlefield of the Vermilion Bird domain, known as the Vermilion Bird Battlefield. The battlefield was vast, reportedly larger than the entire human-occupied star domain. Lin Moyu didn't know how the battlefield was formed. No one had told him why, and even the soldiers here wouldn't know why. A soldier's duty is to obey, knowing only what they need to do, not why they need to do it. Lin Moyu's information was limited. He only knew that many races fought here for resources. The Vermilion Bird battlefield was rich in resources and fiercely contested. Unlike the human borderlines, which involved battles between 2 or 3 races, the battlefield could see hundreds of races in chaotic warfare. This was just the battlefield of the Vermilion Bird domain. There were 3 other such battlefields, each managed by one of the other 3 star domains. It was said that the division of human star domains was related to the number of battlefields. After learning about the battlefield, Lin Moyu became very interested. He couldn't understand why such an area existed or how the battlefield was formed. Now, being here, he could truly feel the battlefield's atmosphere. Outside the teleportation array, there were guiding markers. A huge light beam connected to a star fortress in the battlefield, the first stop for everyone. Here, they could take on tasks and then head to the corresponding areas to execute them. Following the light beam's guidance, Lin Moyu flew billions of kilometers in the Battle King Tower and finally saw the star fortress. 1067 Chapter 1067 Star Fortress First Mission. From a distance, the star fortress appeared to be glowing entirely, like a giant star. Lin Moyu realized that it was indeed a star, one that had been modified. A massive military fortress had been built on the star, with numerous formations arranged, transforming the star into a formidable war machine. Although the star still emitted light, the heat it radiated had significantly decreased. Most of the heat was absorbed by the formations on the star, supplying energy to the star fortress. The human race had transformed the star into a star fortress, powered by the star's own energy. The star's core fire burned fiercely, continuously providing immense energy. The entire star fortress exuded an oppressive aura, making it awe-inspiring. Lin Moyu believed that such a star fortress could definitely contend with a god sovereign. Many people accompanied Lin Moyu, and upon seeing the star fortress, they all expressed their amazement.
What a terrifying star fortress. It's said that it can rival a god sovereign. I wonder if that's true. Not only can it rival a god sovereign, but it also has records of killing one.
Among the group were both newcomers and veterans. Some veterans, seeing the newcomers' reactions, couldn't help but smile.
The newcomers are all scared, aren't they? This is just one of the star fortresses. There are 10 such star fortresses in the Vermilion Bird battlefield.
Everyone was shocked. Such a powerful star fortress, capable of contending with a god sovereign, and there were 10 of them. This was just the Vermilion Bird battlefield. There must be similar fortresses in other battlefields as well. At this moment, Lin Moyu gained a deeper understanding of the human race's strength. The strength of the human race was evident in many aspects. Deploying 10 star fortresses to guard the battlefield established the human race's dominance in the battlefield. However, it also made Lin Moyu realize the dangers of the battlefield. If it weren't so dangerous, the human race wouldn't need to make such a significant deployment. Transforming a star into a star fortress required unimaginable manpower and resources. Suppressing his inner shock, Lin Moyu followed the markers and entered the star fortress. There were formations operating outside the star fortress, and after confirming Lin Moyu's identity, he was allowed to enter. Upon entering the star fortress, the first thing he saw was a large map. The map marked various facilities within the star fortress, indicating which areas were accessible and which were restricted. Lin Moyu saw some familiar places, such as the Mission Center, Trading Center, and Training Ground, all prefixed with the word
Battlefield.
adding the word
Battlefield.
seemed to change the significance of these places. The entire Star Fortress exuded an oppressive atmosphere. As people walked inside, they kept their mouths shut. No one used soul sound to speak loudly, and even when talking to each other, they used sound transmission. The entire Star Fortress was very quiet. There were also some leisure areas within the Star Fortress where cultivators could rest and relax. These areas offered delicious food and fine wine, which could be enjoyed as long as one had enough points. Although cultivators had low requirements for food and could even go without eating or drinking, many of the foods here came from other races. They were not only delicious but also beneficial for cultivation. Many cultivators couldn't resist the temptation and spent a lot of points on these items. Lin Moyu understood that in the oppressive and stimulating battlefield, where nerves were constantly tense, appropriate relaxation was necessary. Lin Moyu first went to the trading center. The battlefield trading center was different from the trading centers in the human star systems. There were no personal stalls here. All items were collected by the human race's official channels. Unless you had something to trade privately, you could only sell to the official channels. However, most people chose personal transactions because selling to the official channels not only earned points but also military merits. Lin Moyu checked and found that for every 10,000 points worth of items sold, one could earn an additional point of military merit. It seemed small, but military merits were very hard to come by. Lin Moyu had completed many dangerous tasks and killed many true gods of the demon race, earning only 3,000 military merits in total. These 3,000 military merits were earned at great risk. Military merits had significant uses, not only for promoting military ranks but also for purchasing special items. Lin Moyu checked the trading center and found several items that couldn't be bought in the human star systems. One of them was called the Warning Pearl. By carrying the Warning Pearl, it would alert the user if any other race approached, providing a warning. Many other races had unique abilities, such as stealth and invisibility, allowing them to launch silent attacks. With the Warning Pearl, safety was greatly enhanced. However, the Warning Pearl wasn't foolproof. Some extremely special races could bypass it. Lin Moyu thought for a moment and decided to buy one. Each Warning Pearl cost only 10,000 points, which wasn't very expensive. Almost everyone who came here bought one. The trading center also had some items suitable for the battlefield, but they weren't very useful to Lin Moyu. Compared to the trading center, the mission center was much busier. The mission center was similar to the human race's mission centers, except there were no mission rooms. Everything else was the same. In the battlefield, there were no tasks from the Human Sovereign Network, so there was no need for mission rooms. Lin Moyu checked the missions. Collect star fragments from Zone 1. Collect water light flowers from Zone 2. Collect essence firestones from Zone 3. Lin Moyu saw many missions in the mission center, most of which were collection tasks. The battlefield was rich in resources, and various races collected a lot of resources here. The entire battlefield was divided into 10 zones, each with different levels of danger. The core and most dangerous zone was Zone 10, which belonged to the God Sovereign Realm. Next were Zones 7, 8, and 9, which belonged to the God King Realm. The outermost zones 1 to 6 belonged to the True God Realm. The lower the zone number, the safer it was. Over the years, the various races had reached a tacit understanding. High-level cultivators rarely entered low-level zones. God Kings generally didn't enter True God zones. Otherwise, the entire battlefield would be in chaos, and God Sovereigns could enter True God zones and slaughter indiscriminately. There had been instances where other races broke this rule, and they were almost exterminated by other races. However, there was no absolute safety on the battlefield. Occasionally, high-level cultivators would enter low-level zones. Lin Moyu chose a mission in Zone 5, matching it with the bounty list of the Vermilion Bird Star domain. Battlefield mission. Collect Essence Fire from Zone 5. Zone 5 has a large amount of Essence Fire. Collect and bring it back. Restrictions. None. Completion criteria. Bring back at least 10 essence fires. Reward: 5,000 points, 10 military merits. Notes: essence fire is highly destructive and difficult to collect. It is recommended to use a Starfire Jade bottle for collection. There are other races in the battlefield, so be aware of their movements while collecting. 1068. Chapter 1068. All things in the world are difficult. There was no direct teleportation array to each war zone within the Star Fortress. Lin Moyu had to use the teleportation array to reach the various Star Fortresses. Each war zone had a Star Fortress station there. Lin Moyu had accepted a mission in War Zone 5, so he needed to head to the Star Fortress in Zone 5. Lin Moyu saw another map, this one depicting the Vermilion Bird battlefield. The map divided the battlefield into 10 zones, each representing a war zone. Zones 1 to 6 were located on the outermost perimeter of the Vermilion Bird battlefield, forming a large circle that surrounded the entire battlefield. Further inward, there was another circular area, which included zones 7 to 9. At the very center of the battlefield was Zone 10, which belonged to the God Sovereign Realm. In Lin Moyu's eyes, the central Zone 10 occupied an area comparable to the combined size of the other 9 zones.
This structure looks a bit like a star system.
Lin Moyu muttered to himself as he looked at the map. All the war zones seemed to revolve around the central Zone 10. Zone 10 was like the star in a star system, while the other zones were like planets orbiting it. This made it easier to understand. However, what Lin Moyu couldn't understand was where the resources within the war zones came from. It was common knowledge that the total amount of resources in a star system was limited. Resources could regenerate, but the process was very slow. This was common sense, known to almost everyone. But the situation in the battlefield was different. In the battlefield, resources seemed endless. New resources constantly appeared, leading to fierce competition among various races for these resources. Every race had an insatiable desire for resources. Besides resources, there were also various opportunities in the battlefield. Many people who couldn't break through with their own strength would come here to seek opportunities. Lin Moyu entered the teleportation array to head to the Star Fortress in Zone 5. At this moment, Lin Moyu discovered something peculiar. Traveling to the Star Fortress in Zone 5 didn't require any points. However, traveling to other Star Fortresses did require points, and the cost was quite high. Lin Moyu realized that this was related to the mission he had accepted. Since he had accepted a mission in War Zone 5, traveling to the Star Fortress in Zone 5 was free. If he wanted to travel to a Star Fortress without a corresponding mission, he would have to pay. This system prevented people from using the teleportation arrays randomly. After all, the distances between Star Fortresses were vast, and using large interstellar teleportation arrays consumed a lot of energy. Traveling from Fortress 1 to Fortress 5 required several transfers, spanning a distance of 30,000 light-years. The size of the Vermilion Bird battlefield far exceeded Lin Moyu's imagination. He had only heard that the Vermilion Bird battlefield was larger than the entire Vermilion Bird star domain, and now he saw that it was true. At the top of Fortress 10, a God Sovereign sat cross-legged. He was the master of Fortress 10 and the overseer of the Vermilion Bird battlefield, Zhu Qiwu. Zhu Qiwu faced the very center of the battlefield, the most core area. It was pitch black there, with all light disappearing without a trace. Even the light emitted by the Star Fortress couldn't illuminate the distant darkness. A vast soul force spread out like a giant net, absorbing power from the depths of the darkness. Suddenly, a light appeared in front of him, coming from the Star Fortress below. Zhu Tian's figure appeared in the light.
Senior brother.
Zhu Tian said loudly. Zhu Qiwu didn't open his eyes and spoke softly.
Third brother, what is it?
Zhu Tian said,
The person I favor has arrived at the Vermilion Bird battlefield. I would like to trouble senior brother to look after him. The person you favor?
Zhu Qiwu thought for a moment and understood.
What is his name?
Zhu Qiwu asked.
Lin Moyu.
Zhu Tian replied. Zhu Qiwu remained silent, and Zhu Tian waited patiently. After a few seconds, Zhu Qiwu slowly said.
He has already gone to Fortress 5. That area is for missions above the 6th level of the True God Realm. He is only at the 1st level of the True God Realm, so he must have the ability to challenge higher levels. What is his true combat strength?
Zhu Tian said.
He once killed a 1st level God King.
Zhu Qiwu's eyelids twitched a few times, but he didn't open his eyes.
Understood. I will have someone keep an eye on him.
Zhu Tian bowed slightly.
Thank you, senior brother. We are brothers. No need for formalities.
Zhu Qiwu said straightforwardly. Zhu Tian smiled.
When will you break through, senior brother?
Zhu Qiwu replied.
Soon. What about you?
Zhu Tian shook his head.
I am entangled in trivial matters, so it will be difficult.
Zhu Qiwu said softly.
Handling trivial matters is also a form of cultivation. Keeping your heart steady and not being disturbed by external things is what our master taught us. Have you forgotten?
Zhu Tian smiled bitterly.
How could I forget? It's just that it's too difficult. You don't know how troublesome it is to manage a star domain. Trouble is also a form of cultivation. I know, but Sai, I will do my best. If it doesn't work out, I will have to take another path.
Zhu Tian's projection disappeared as he left. Zhu Qiwu sighed softly.
All things in the world are difficult. If you can't keep your heart steady, how can anything be easy?
After speaking, he closed his eyes again. A shadow flew out from his body, one of his avatars. The avatar disappeared into the starry sky. Soon after, a teleportation array within the Star Fortress lit up. Lin Moyu arrived at the Star Fortress in Zone 5, which seemed no different from Fortress 1. The structure of the entire fortress was identical to that of Fortress 1. The only difference was that there was no mission center or trading center here. Moreover, the presence of the human sovereign network couldn't be sensed here. After completing a mission, one had to return to Fortress 1 to submit it. The area where he could move was very small. Most of the area here belonged to the military and was not open to outsiders. Lin Moyu didn't stay long in the fortress and activated the teleportation array again. The Star Fortress in Zone 5 faced War Zone 5, but War Zone 5 was very large and subdivided into thousands of smaller areas, each identified by a number. The human race had become accustomed to using numerical identifiers, making it easy to understand. The mission Lin Moyu chose was in Area 5 to 38. The
5
represented War Zone 5 and
5 to 38
was the 38th area within War Zone 5. In this area, the human race had established a small forward base. It was managed by the military. As soon as Lin Moyu exited the teleportation array, he felt a different atmosphere. It was the atmosphere of the military, reminding him of the soldiers in the small world who had a similar aura. This small base, built on a fragment of a planet, covered an area of only about 100 miles. A military force was stationed here, forming a military formation. Each soldier had the combat power of at least the 7th level of the True God Realm. Forming a military formation, they could even contend with a God King. Here, they wouldn't take the initiative to attack. As long as other races didn't provoke them, they wouldn't attack. It seemed to be an unspoken rule, followed by other races as well. After saluting the soldiers, Lin Moyu left the base and truly entered Area 38. 1069, 1069. Chapter 1069. Vast Battlefield, Sudden Dark Star. The starry sky of the battlefield is quite different from that of the human race. Lin Moyu noticed that while there were stars, their light was dim, unlike the brilliant starry sky of the human race. However, behind the dim starlight there was an extremely dense starlight law. Cultivators who mastered the starlight law could increase their combat power by at least 30% on the battlefield. The starlight law was originally one of the weaker laws in the second tier. But with a 30% increase in power, it reached at least the average level of the second tier laws. Additionally, it had the advantages of low consumption and strong sustained combat ability, making it shine on the battlefield. Although the starlight here was not strong, The starlight law was extremely dense. The reason for this was the presence of numerous dark stars on the battlefield. These stars, which absorbed light and were invisible to the naked eye, flew around the battlefield and were very dangerous. Many cultivators were struck by dark stars, and powerful dark stars could shatter true god-level cultivators into pieces. Only some races with strong physical bodies could possibly survive. Lin Moyu recalled various battlefield information in his mind and reviewed the precautions. He spread out his soul power, forming a surveillance net. In the dark battlefield, soul power was more useful than eyes. After flying for a while, Lin Moyu released hundreds of skeletons, letting them fly in all directions. Some flew ahead of him, serving as his eyes. The skeletons had their unique undead vision, and the dark stars, invisible to the naked eye, were clearly visible to them. Lin Moyu flew towards the mission location at high speed. He chose this mission not only to collect the stellar essence fire, but also because there was a bounty on a person named Luo Fei, who often operated in this area and had killed many human cultivators. Luo Fei belonged to the winged race and was ranked 88th on the bounty list, with a cultivation level of True God 6th rank. He had the ability to fight across levels, and according to the bounty list, his actual combat power had reached the 8th rank of True God. Killing him would earn 2,000 points and 200 military merits. Points were secondary. Military merits were crucial. 200 military merits were not a small amount. In the trading center, it would require a transaction volume of 2 million points to earn 200 military merits. After flying tens of thousands of kilometers, the skeletons ahead suddenly saw a different scene. A star, like it had emerged from underwater, suddenly appeared in their vision. The skeletons immediately transmitted the information to Lin Moyu, who saw a dark star with a diameter of about 100 kilometers. A dark star with a diameter of only 100 kilometers was considered small among dark stars. However, the smaller the dark star, the faster its speed. This small dark star appeared suddenly and was very close. Then it collided with the skeleton at an astonishing speed. The skeleton warrior couldn't dodge in time and was hit directly. The skeleton warrior was shattered, and the scattered bones were absorbed by a powerful force. Lin Moyu's heart moved, and the bones disappeared instantly. In the stellar essence fire, a new skeleton warrior appeared. From the information transmitted by the skeleton warrior, Lin Moyu discovered that the dark star had a huge suction force. Once locked on, the speed would greatly decrease, making it difficult to dodge. The key was that the dark star appeared too strangely, completely out of nowhere.
Could the dark star teleport?
Lin Moyu wondered, puzzled. Moreover, the impact force of the dark star was astonishing. Even the skeleton warrior's defense couldn't withstand it, indicating that the impact force of the dark star had at least reached the peak of the true god realm, if not the god king realm. If it hit him, he wouldn't fare well either. Other cultivators might die instantly. He had to be careful and slow down. For the next period, no dark stars appeared suddenly. Slowing down gave him more reaction time. The skeletons could see the dark stars from afar and avoid them. Here, Lin Moyu didn't use the Battle King Tower, unsure if there were stronger dark stars that could destroy it. After half a day, Lin Moyu had flown tens of millions of kilometers away from the base. The vastness of Area 5 to 38 exceeded his expectations, larger than an ordinary star system. Even after flying tens of millions of kilometers, he was still on the edge. According to Lin Moyu's estimate, he needed to fly another 20 to 30 million kilometers to reach the mission area. The starry sky grew darker, and dark stars increased. Along the way, Lin Moyu encountered no living beings, neither human nor alien. The battlefield was too vast. Once dispersed, it was hard to meet anyone. After flying for a whole day, covering at least 20 million kilometers, he encountered more than a dozen dark stars, forcing him to change direction. Finally, a point of starlight appeared in his vision, breaking the dark sky and bringing a glimmer of light. His eyes focused, and the starlight quickly enlarged in his vision. It wasn't starlight but a mass of flames.
Stellar essence fire.
Stellar essence fire, the remains of a star after its death, used to comprehend the law of fire. Lin Moyu had seen stellar essence fire when he first arrived in the Great World. But the stellar essence fire before him seemed different. The stellar essence fire left after a star's death had no vitality, only deathly stillness and some resentment. But the stellar essence fire before him exuded rich vitality. This vibrant stellar essence fire could be used to repair stars, enhance their power, or even evolve into new stars. For the human race, stars were the foundation of life star systems. Not only for the human race, but for many races, it was the same. Collecting stellar essence fire to evolve into stars and form new life star systems was of great significance to races. Lin Moyu flew towards the stellar essence fire, holding the starfire jade bottle. He had bought it from the trading center after accepting the mission. It wasn't expensive, costing only 10,000 points, the same as the warning pearl. After use, it could be sold back to the trading center for the same price without any loss. Lin Moyu approached the stellar essence fire and felt its power. A fireball with a diameter of over 100 meters was burning fiercely. With a slight movement of his soul power, he activated the starfire jade bottle. A suction force emerged from the bottle, enveloping the stellar essence fire. The stellar essence fire began to deform, turning into a brilliant fire snake and flying into the bottle. Collecting stellar essence fire required full concentration and took about 10 minutes. While collecting, the warning pearl suddenly lit up. The warning pearl's range was 10,000 kilometers, indicating the presence of an alien within that range. For a true god-level cultivator, 10,000 kilometers was only a few seconds away, even shorter for those with speed laws. A black shadow appeared behind Lin Moyu, and a cold light flashed. Chapter 1070, Counterattack Against the Black Lizard Clan, First Puppet. Shu Lin Moyu showed no panic at all. Instead, a slight smile appeared on his lips. A bright white light shone, and several skeletons appeared beside Lin Moyu. Among them, the skeleton god warrior swung its axe, launching an even more fierce counterattack. The opponent let out a cry of surprise, clearly not expecting Lin Moyu's reaction to be so quick and capable of counterattacking. The figure exploded with a bang, disappearing without a trace, hiding again in the darkness. But his hiding was useless against the skeletons. The skeleton soul archer had already drawn its bow and shot an arrow. The soul attack arrived in an instant, and the black shadow, with a scream, reappeared in the dark starry sky. The skeleton god mage followed up, using the undead law as a bomb, directly detonating it on the opponent. The skeleton god warrior also followed, chopping down with its axe. Facing the siege of the skeletons, the black shadow became extremely passive, especially the attacks of the skeleton soul archer, which directly targeted the soul, making it unavoidable. Seeing the failed sneak attack, the black shadow immediately tried to retreat, disappearing into the darkness again. At this moment, a dragon's roar sounded in the starry sky, and the death dragon knight flew out, spewing scorching dragon breath. The law domain simultaneously expanded, instantly covering an area of 10,000 meters. The black shadow just disappeared, was forced out again by the law domain. In the law domain, Lin Moyu was the master, making it difficult for the black shadow to hide. The dragon breath fell on the black shadow, burning it, and the undead law corroded it, causing a horrifying scream to echo through the starry sky. The black shadow wanted to escape, but Lin Moyu didn't give it a chance. More skeletons appeared, surrounding it completely. The fierce attacks never ceased from the beginning. Enduring attacks from all directions, the screams lasted for a full minute before gradually fading. The starry sky returned to silence. The black shadow that had ambushed Lin Moyu was already burned to a crisp. It was impossible to tell what race it belonged to before death. But for Lin Moyu, this was not a problem. A skeleton dragged the corpse to Lin Moyu. Lin Moyu flicked his finger, and a fireball fell on the corpse. Stellar level spell. Resurrection of the dead. In the firelight, the already dead corpse's flesh and blood were reborn, and its soul reappeared. In the blink of an eye, it was already kneeling alive in front of Lin Moyu. Lin Moyu looked at its appearance. Its body was somewhat similar to a human, but it had a tail. His head looked like a flattened lizard, extremely strange. Its entire body was covered with black scales that could absorb light, making it blend in with the surroundings. If relying only on the naked eye, it would be difficult to detect its presence even at close range. Lin Moyu asked,
What race are you? What is your strength? I am from the Black Lizard clan, True God 6th rank.
It replied, kneeling on the ground without raising its head, speaking in a low voice. After becoming a resurrected being, Lin Moyu's words were commands. A True God 6th rank, capable of instantly unleashing the attack power of a True God 7th rank. Moreover, the Black Lizard clan could change their color, making their hiding ability very outstanding, suitable for ambushes here. Although slightly inferior to the Shadow clan, it was already quite good. If the timing was right, it could potentially kill a True God 7th rank. Lin Moyu quickly analyzed its strength and said in a low voice,
Leave your storage ring. Go find other races besides the human race, ambush them, pretend to be defeated, and lure them to me. Yes, master.
It immediately obeyed and left, its color changing, disappearing into the darkness. If it weren't for Lin Moyu's ability to sense the presence of resurrected beings, it would indeed be difficult to detect its presence with the naked eye. Unfortunately, before this, it couldn't escape the eyes of the skeletons. Before it got close, the skeletons had already detected its presence. Lin Moyu had long set a trap, waiting for it to come in.
With the first puppet, there should be more puppets in the future.
This was Lin Moyu's initial strategy. He could directly use the skeletons to attack, but that would be too conspicuous. It might be effective at first, but it wouldn't be sustainable. The effect would be far less than using other races to lure people over. Lin Moyu was not in a hurry. He still needed to find Stellar Essence Fire. The mission's target was 10 Stellar Essence Fires, but Lin Moyu's goal was far beyond that. Stellar Essence Fire could be sold for money, with each one worth at least several thousand points. Moreover, he still needed to find aliens. Before coming here, he had spent 5 million points, and Lin Moyu planned to earn it all back on the battlefield. 10 minutes later, the Stellar Essence Fire in front of him was collected, and the Starfire Jade Bottle contained another flame. The Starfire Jade Bottle was a special magic treasure specifically for collecting flames, capable of holding a large amount of fire. 1,000 Stellar Essence Fires could be stored without any problem. With the Stellar Essence Fire gone, the starry sky became dark again. Lin Moyu took out the newly obtained storage ring. The storage ring looked different from those of the human race, but its function was almost the same, and the usage method was no different. The previous owner of the storage ring was dead, and the soul imprint on the ring had disappeared, making it an ownerless item. Lin Moyu easily opened the ring with a thought. The space inside the ring was not small, filled with a lot of miscellaneous items, most of which were alien objects that Lin Moyu didn't recognize. There were a few magic treasures that didn't seem to belong to the Black Lizard clan, likely spoils of war. Many aliens must have died at its hands. After rummaging through the items, Lin Moyu found something similar to the Starfire Jade Bottle. This bottle was used by aliens to store Stellar Essence Fire, containing 3 Stellar Essence Fires. Lin Moyu didn't hesitate to take them all, completing half of the mission in an instant.
Indeed, killing and looting is the fastest way to make money.
Lin Moyu said softly, putting away the ring. As for the value of the items inside, he would let the trading center's appraisers estimate it later. He couldn't be bothered to calculate it himself. He glanced at the warning pearl on his waist, finding it somewhat useful, though its effectiveness was limited against well-prepared assassinations. The warning pearl hung on the left side of his waist, while a specially made iron plate hung on the right side. The iron plate was called a battlefield plate, given to everyone who came to the battlefield. This plate recorded the number of aliens killed on the battlefield. When leaving the battlefield, a unified settlement would be conducted. The battlefield plate was linked to the Human Sovereign Network, making cheating impossible. Cultivators didn't need to pay attention to it. It would automatically settle when leaving the battlefield. In the battlefield, the presence of the human sovereign network was very weak, so such iron plates were needed for recording. In the human territory, such trouble was unnecessary, as the human sovereign network could record everything. Continuing to fly deeper into the war zone, occasional faint lights flickered in the dark starry sky. These faint lights indicated the presence of stellar essence fire. Stellar essence fire was scarce, and Lin Moyu had been here for 2 days. After collecting the first stellar essence fire, he had no further gains. Lin Moyu had to continue deeper, as the probability of encountering stellar essence fire increased the deeper he went. 2 more days passed, and Lin Moyu found another stellar essence fire, successfully collecting it. During these 2 days, no aliens came to harass him. Lin Moyu knew he was still on the periphery. As he continued deeper, he would inevitably encounter alien warriors. 1071. Chapter 1071. The second puppet instantly killed. Lin Moyu put away the Starfire jade bottle and looked into the depths of space.
The laws here are very clear. And there's a strange energy that seems to accelerate the comprehension of laws.
Over these 2 days, Lin Moyu felt his strength had increased slightly. His soul power had naturally increased a bit, and his understanding of the immortal law seemed to have deepened. It was a strange feeling. He hadn't deliberately tried to comprehend the law, yet insights kept coming, gradually deepening his understanding. It was as if those insights were forcibly stuffed in. He pondered for a long time but couldn't figure out why. However, Lin Moyu also realized that if others experienced the same thing, it would explain why people came to the battlefield when they couldn't break through. Although dangerous, the battlefield could indeed increase the chances of breakthrough. Lin Moyu knew the phenomenon but not the reason. Ultimately, it was because his strength and knowledge were still insufficient. In space, the black lizard race member who was a revived being was fleeing miserably. Behind him, a dark star almost invisible to the naked eye was chasing madly. Through his connection with the revived being, Lin Moyu sensed its position and state.
Oh? It's being chased.
The revived being was injured, and quite badly. More than half of its scales were shattered. With its strength and ability to hide, if not able to strut around freely in Area 5 to 38, at least it shouldn't have trouble protecting itself. Lin Moyu had only ordered it to pretend to be weak and lure other races over, not to actually get injured. Until he saw the dark star chasing it, Lin Moyu finally understood what was happening. The pursuer wasn't a real dark star, but a black mysterious race member. He had seen and killed many black mysterious race members in the Human Emperor Network's virtual secret realm before. But the virtual world was ultimately virtual, different from the real world. The black mysterious race was like a fish in water on the battlefield. They were originally completely black, and when motionless, they curled up into a ball, looking very much like small asteroids in space. Especially in this pitch-black battlefield space, they looked even more like dark stars. The black mysterious race had extremely powerful defense. Lin Moyu guessed his revived being must have failed in a sneak attack and was almost killed in retaliation. The black mysterious race member before him exuded the aura of True God Realm Level 7. Its defense should have reached True God Level 8. In the True God Realm, a difference of 1 level could be huge. The revived being could instantly burst out with True God Level 7 attack power, but definitely couldn't overcome this black mysterious race member. Following Lin Moyu's orders, the revived being changed direction and fled towards Lin Moyu. The black mysterious race member also discovered Lin Moyu. Its entire body curled into a ball, shooting over like a meteor. Lin Moyu even heard its vicious laughter.
Not bad, you'll be my second puppet.
Lin Moyu chuckled softly and lightly pointed a finger. Fusion spell. Time curse. As the red light fell, the black mysterious race member immediately let out a miserable scream. The entire small asteroid shook violently, its charging momentum immediately weakening. The opponent had at least True God Level 7 combat power. Lin Moyu knew that relying on the time curse spell alone couldn't kill it. But a soul attack was enough to slow its charge. The result was as he expected. Immediately after, A large number of skeleton god generals appeared, swinging their bone swords to unleash vast sword energies. The sword energies intertwined in space like a huge net, enveloping the black mysterious race member. As the sword energies slashed past, the black mysterious race member's body was torn to pieces. Couldn't even scream before being cut to shreds. A ball of fire flew out, landing on the shattered corpse of the black mysterious race member. Star-level spell, Revival of the Dead. The just shattered corpse reassembled in the undying flames, restored to its original state in the blink of an eye. But now, the black mysterious race member was no longer its former self. It had become a revived being, obeying Lin Moyu's every command. Now Lin Moyu had two puppets. He gave them the same orders again and sent them away. Lin Moyu himself continued deeper into Area 38 to search for more starfires. In the blink of an eye, Lin Moyu had been in Area 38 for over 10 days. He had flown nearly 5 billion kilometers. Although 5 billion kilometers wasn't much in terms of light years, 1 light year is about 9.46 trillion kilometers. A mere 5 billion kilometers wasn't even a fraction of that. But 5 billion kilometers was not short for a true god. Here they couldn't use flying tools, could only fly themselves, and had to guard against dark stars, unable to accelerate without limit. Lin Moyu believed his speed was already quite fast. With skeletons clearing the way ahead, he basically didn't need to worry about dark stars, so his speed was only slightly slower than usual.
According to the information, Area 5 to 38 is roughly spherical. The diameter is about 1 light year. I'm still on the outskirts, and the outskirts of the outskirts at that.
Lin Moyu sighed inwardly at the vastness of the battlefield, which could only be appreciated after personally entering. The 5th battle zone was just one of 10 major battle zones in the battlefield, and it was on the outskirts, not very large. The 5th battle zone was further divided into 1,000 areas, each area varying in size, with large empty spaces between each area. These empty spaces occupied over 90% of the entire battle zone. Only less than 10% of the space was the actual battle zone. This less than 10% of battle zone space was further divided into 1,000 independent areas. One can imagine how large the 5th battle zone was, and how vast the entire Vermilion Bird battlefield must be. After flying for another 10 days, as he became more familiar with the battlefield, Lin Moyu's speed gradually increased. In these 10 days, space was completely silent, with nothing but dark stars. There was no direction here, no up, down, left or right, no knowing where he was flying to. But cultivators all had their own ways of finding direction. By sensing the flow of laws through the soul, one could know which way they were flying. Different directions not only had different concentrations and flows of laws, but also slightly different temperatures. At the core of this area, there would be relatively more starfires releasing more heat. Even from such a distance, it would have some effect on the temperature. Even a 0.01 degree difference, Lin Moyu could clearly sense. Lin Moyu knew he was going in the right direction and continued flying forward. The black lizard and black mysterious race members he had sent out couldn't keep up for now. The distance between them was too great, but Lin Moyu didn't care. After all, they were just casual pieces he had placed in his spare time. Whether they produced results or not didn't matter. After flying another several billion kilometers, the temperature rose again, and the frequency of dark stars increased slightly. The laws flowed like ocean currents, becoming increasingly clear as they passed through the darkness. Following the direction of the laws, another point of starlight appeared in his vision. The starlight danced in the pitch-black space, so enchanting. He had finally found the second starfire, over 20 days since seeing the last one. After spending over 20 days in dark solitude, discovering light now brought a hint of joy to Lin Moyu's eyes. As he got closer to the starfire, its light grew brighter. Then, Lin Moyu saw stars twinkling behind the starfire. Each point of starlight was a starfire. It was as if he had crossed a boundary, turned a corner, and seen a whole new world. 1072.